Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday afternoon, May the 11th. Well, in yesterday's video, we talked about a lot of rain and possible strong to severe thunderstorm activity centered over the central part of the nation during the next several days. Indeed, that continues to look like it'll come true with a lot of rainfall, specifically over Texas, and a real focus of concern over the Rio Grande Valley, the border region between Texas and Mexico, for significant rainfall over the next 5 and 10 days or so. And again, the strong to severe thunderstorm activity over the next several days will kind of be focused over the central part of the nation. This is a forecast map from last night's zero-Z run of the European model for the total liquid equivalent precipitation over the next 10 days. And just take a look at what's going on here over Texas, or at least what is forecasted to be the case over the next 10 days. This is the Rio Grande, Texas over here, of course, and Mexico over here. And this is a forecast of 6 to 12 inches of rain, let's say, over the next 10 days or so. This is not the only model suggesting such a deluge in that part of the nation. And really, much of the central states will get hit hard, including today. This afternoon, there's certainly a threat for strong to severe thunderstorm activity throughout much of the central states. Some heavy rainfall right now on the eastern side of the Rocky Mountains. But this is really an area of concern that we'll have to focus in on over the next several days. Not only a couple of events in the next 5 days, but even a couple of events after that in days 5 to 10, with a lot of rainfall, especially focused over the state of Texas during the next week to 10 days or so. Well, here's a second forecast model that again is suggesting a lot of rainfall over Texas. It's the Canadian model from zero-Z last night. Again, the main area of action over the next 5 or 10 days, the central part of the U.S. And look at this agreeing with the European model for substantial rainfall amounts of 6+ inches over the next 5-10 days or so, right over the Rio Grande Valley of the state of Texas, that border region between Texas and Mexico. Well, here's a current look at the radar from WSI's and telecast.com. There already are some strong to severe thunderstorms over Arkansas, Louisiana. A tornado watch has been issued by the National Weather Service, let's say, for the northern half of Louisiana and the southern part of Arkansas. Certainly the threat for severe weather later on today into tonight, and that threat will extend across Oklahoma. There's an area, kind of a batch of showers and thunderstorms starting to develop right now across the Oklahoma-Texas border region right here. That will expand in coverage over the next several hours, and certainly an enhanced threat of severe weather right in this part of the nation, in addition to Arkansas and Louisiana. A lot of heavy rainfall over the eastern side of the Rocky Mountains, and some flash flooding is a possibility, and still snow here in the middle part of May over the higher elevations in Colorado, the Colorado Rockies, west of Denver, still getting some accumulating snow. So again, a lot of the activity in the central part of the U.S. today, and that generally will be the rule of thumb over the next 5 or 10 days or so. Well, here's a look at NOAA's Storm Prediction Center, the probability or possibility of severe weather throughout the remainder of today into tonight. And again, an enhanced threat over Oklahoma and Kansas, with a batch of showers and thunderstorms right now in this part of that Oklahoma-Texas border region. This will expand in coverage, and again, this whole area is under the gun later today and tonight, and really this should be expanded all the way to include Arkansas and the northern half of Louisiana as well. I would put this whole area in kind of an enhanced threat for severe weather over the next 6 to 12 hours or so. And again, we kind of talked about the central U.S. being the area of action over the next several days. This is for today. Let's move ahead for tomorrow. The threat of severe weather remains right over the central part of the nation. We'll go ahead to the next day, Saturday, and here we go. Again, the main threat area for possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms remaining over the central part of the nation, with a real focus on the state of Texas. Well, let's walk through last night's zero-Z operational run of the Canadian model. We'll kind of break down what is the cause of this activity over the central U.S., specifically over the state of Texas. And we'll first take a look at 500 millibar height anomaly pattern, kind of move quickly forward over the next several days. Interesting developments. We have a tremendous ridge that will form over the western part of Canada. There will be no doubt some record-breaking heat in that part of North America in this kind of a pattern with this very, very powerful upper-level ridge forming. We'll see that in a moment here across southwestern and west central part of Canada, extending into the far northwestern part of the U.S. as well. But also a very interesting feature, we'll see this in a moment, upper-level low kind of stuck in place right over Baja California and Mexico, and that will contribute to the instability over the south central U.S., including the state of Texas. So let's move forward. First of all, right off the bat here, we have an upper level low sitting over the eastern part of Colorado, and all this is kind of adding fuel to the fire across Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, all the way down into northern Texas. Now, let's move forward kind of in a quick fashion. Again, this kind of an upper level feature here, shown in blue, below normal heights, will be very persistent over the next 5 or 10 days or so. And watch the oranges intensify up in this part of North America as that ridge really intensifies. But here we are now into the upcoming weekend, Saturday, just a tremendous ridge here. This is no doubt going to result in some record-breaking heat across western Canada and very, very warm conditions developing over the Pacific Northwest. But look at this, just kind of sitting and spinning around here in the Baja California area of North America, Mexico itself, and this is now into Sunday. We'll go farther into time and in the early part of next week. A look at this incredible ridge right here over the southwestern part of Canada. At the same time, that upper level low just sitting there over Baja California. Again, this is adding to the instability across Texas here with a warm and humid air mass in place across the Gulf region, and some upper level support, some upper level energy to the north and west here. And again, just an unbelievable ridge here forming over the southwestern part of Canada. Then we go farther out in time into the middle part of next week. Here we are now, next Wednesday. Still, upper level heights are below normal here across Mexico and Texas, and that leads to the instability, kind of cooler than normal air in the upper part of the atmosphere, leading to an unstable atmosphere. And again, that could help generate some significant rainfall, especially right along the Rio Grande Valley, but remaining above normal heights across western Canada. And now we go out a little farther in time. Here we are all the way out a week from today. This is next Thursday, still sitting and spinning an upper level low over Baja California. That certainly adds to the possibility of significant rainfall in this part of the nation here, the south central U.S. Again, specifically focused over Texas. Still very warm conditions across the Pacific Northwest and into the southwestern part of Canada. Let's now take a look at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies going forward. And again, keeping in mind the central U.S. We'll have a lot of weather activity over the next 5 or 10 days or so. A lot of warmer than normal conditions across Canada, the northern part of the U.S., but colder than normal at the 850 millibar level across the southwestern states. And again, we talked about this many, many times over the past several weeks, kind of a clash zone developing with colder air to the north and west and warm, humid air to the south and east. And right now, that clash zone for today, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, right in this region right here. Now let's move forward here, and we'll just go ahead in time here now into the upcoming weekend. Again, kind of a clash zone right here across the central states with colder than normal air to the west, warmer than normal air to the east, and here we see some substantially warmer than normal temperatures at the 850 millibar level by the early part of the upcoming weekend. And this is all as a result of that ridge that's really starting to intensify at this time in the upper part of the atmosphere. Here we go into Sunday. Same sort of pattern here with very warm across Canada, the Pacific Northwest, colder than normal, the eastern side of the Rockies, warmer than normal to the east. And here is your clash zone right in this region right here. Right here is your clash zone. And again, this is all leading to significant rainfall for the central U.S. and especially over the state of Texas. Let's keep moving farther out in time. And remember that upper level low continues to sit and spin over Baja California, over Mexico during this time period. Here we are all the way out to Tuesday. The same sort of clash in the atmosphere here over Texas, Louisiana, with warmer than normal air to the east, colder than normal air to the west, and way up here, the Pacific Northwest, southwestern Canada, extremely warm conditions with a very powerful upper level ridge. Go out farther in time and kind of similar pattern. And here's a cold air outbreak headed for the northeastern states by the middle part of next week. A couple days ago, we talked about the possibility of another cold air outbreak in about a week to 10 days or so. That looked, at that time, more like the central U.S., it's looking more and more like into the northeastern part of the nation by the middle part of next week. At the same time, very, very warm conditions out across western Canada into the Pacific Northwest. But look at this. This is partly as a result of a lot of clouds and a lot of rainfall, keeping temperatures suppressed. Colder than normal conditions right here over the south central states. The middle part of next week will go out a little farther in time. A week from right now, colder than normal across the northeast. Cooler than normal over Texas. And again, heavy rainfall, especially right here in the Rio Grande Valley, remaining well above normal. The northern plains and into the southern part of Canada a week from today. This is next Thursday, May 18th. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the 0Z run of the Canadian model. They show the radar reflectivities here. And again, right now, northern half of Louisiana, southern half of Arkansas under the gun for the possibility of severe weather, including isolated tornadoes and certainly some heavy rainfall. Heavy rainfall right now over the eastern Rockies. Some flash flood watches out. Eastern Wyoming, eastern Colorado, and snow in those higher elevations of the Colorado Rockies, west of Denver. If you like to ski, you live in Colorado, you'll have skiing at least for another month or so, it looks like. Let's move on here. And again, the central part of the nation has a lot of the action. Here we are tomorrow afternoon. And look at this development here by late tomorrow night into Saturday morning. The Canadian model, again, those other models we looked at, the European model, agrees with this significant threat of excessive rainfall in this part of Texas over the next several days, not only in this initial 5-day period, but days 6 to 10 as well. We'll see that reflected on the model right here. Here we go, all the way out to Sunday. A lot of rainfall, even the reflection of a little low pressure system right here over the southeastern part of New Mexico. And again, this is the area of a lot of concern in terms of significant rainfall over the next 5 to 10 days or so. This is now Sunday. Let's go into the early part of next week. This is now Monday of next week. And still just day after day of some green showing up over Texas, and that is rain and embedded thunderstorms. Here we are now into the middle part of next week. Now this is a week from right now, and a couple things I want to point out. First of all, we have Canadian high pressure over the northeastern states. This is that cold air mass, colder than normal air mass, I should say, that drops southeast from central Canada into the northeastern states by the middle part of next week. Not set in stone yet, but the possibility for some colder than normal air by the middle part of next week, all anchored by a Canadian high pressure system. And meanwhile, continuation of some shower and thunderstorm activity, especially over the south central states here a week from right now. A lot of warmer than normal conditions right in this part of the nation, the Pacific Northwest in the U.S. and across the southwestern part of Canada. That continues a week from right now. This is Thursday, May 18th forecast map, again using the 0Z run of the Canadian model. So the real highlight in the weather will be significant rainfall over Texas, specifically in that Rio Grande Valley over the next 10 days or so. We're talking potentially 6 to 12 inches of rain over that time period. Also, severe weather possibility over the central U.S., not only later today and tonight, but over the next 5 or 10 days or so. That will be the main area of activity. And today's threat will be Kansas, Oklahoma, northern Texas, northern half of Louisiana, southern half of Arkansas. Again, the central states will be under the gun over the next several days. And again, the big concern will be the significant rainfall over Texas over the next week to 10 days or so. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.